Welcome to Tabo Eminent Channel. The Forgotten Women of the Renaissance refers to the many talented, influential, and pioneering women who contributed to the cultural, artistic, scientific, intellectual advancements of the Renaissance era, 14th-17th centuries, but were often overshadowed by their male contemporaries or erased from historical narratives. Here's a brief look at some of these remarkable women and the roles they played. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel. 1. Artemisia Gentileschi, 1593 circa 1656. Profession: painter. Why she matters. One of the first female artists to gain international recognition, Gentileschi painted powerful, emotionally intense works, often depicting strong female figures like Judith slaying Holofernes. Her career challenged gender norms in a male-dominated art world. 2. Sophonisba Anguissa, circa 1532–1625. Profession: painter. Why she matters. Celebrated across Europe for her portraiture, Anguissa was invited to the Spanish court as a court painter to Philip II. She helped pave the way for other women in the visual arts. 3. Isabella d'Este, 1474–1539. Profession: patron of the arts. Why she matters. One of the leading women of the Italian Renaissance, Isabella was a major cultural and political figure. She collected classical antiquities, sponsored artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Titian, and turned her court in Mantua into a hub of Renaissance culture. 4. Laura Serrata, 1469–1499. Profession: humanist, writer. Why she matters. A fierce advocate for women's education and rights, Serrata wrote letters discussing female intelligence, the limitations placed on women, and the value of classical learning. 5. Katharina van Hemessen, 1528–1565. Profession: painter. Why she matters. One of the first Flemish women known to have created a self-portrait, she specialized in portraits and helped establish women's place in the Northern Renaissance art scene. 6. Lucrezia Borgia, 1480–1519. Profession: noblewoman, patron of the arts. Why she matters. Though historically portrayed through a lens of scandal, Lucrezia was a politically savvy figure and a patron of music and letters. Recent scholarship has revised her legacy, emphasizing her intellect and political influence. 7. Marguerite de Navarre, 1492–1549. Profession: writer, religious reformer. Why she matters. The sister of King Francis I of France, she was a writer and an advocate for religious reform and humanist learning. Her book, The Heptameron, was a significant literary achievement. Tulia d'Aragona, 1501–1556. Profession: poet, philosopher, courtesan. Why she matters. Known for her dialogue on the infinity of love, she engaged with key Renaissance philosophical ideas and debated love, gender, and intellect on equal footing with male philosophers. The forgotten women of the Renaissance. When we think of the Renaissance, names like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Galileo often come to mind, brilliant men whose work transformed art, science, and philosophy. But hidden beneath this pantheon of greatness lies a neglected truth, that women, too, played crucial roles in shaping the cultural rebirth of Europe. Their contributions, though groundbreaking, were often dismissed, misattributed, or simply erased from history. Today, we uncover the stories of these forgotten women, painters, poets, philosophers, and patrons, who dared to create, to lead, and to learn in a world that rarely welcomed them. In the quiet city of Rome, a young girl named Artemisia Gentileschi picked up a paintbrush in her father's workshop. By the time she was a teenager, she was painting with more depth and power than many of her male peers. Her masterpiece, Judith slaying Holofernes, shocked audiences with its visceral depiction of female strength and vengeance. But Artemisia's rise came at great cost. As a teenage girl, she survived a highly publicized rape trial, one of the earliest documented legal battles over sexual assault in Europe. Despite this trauma, or perhaps because of it, her paintings throbbed with fury and resilience. Yet for centuries, her work was attributed to her father, Orazio, and she was nearly lost to art history until feminist scholars rediscovered her in the 20th century. Far from the artist's studio, in the elegant courts of Mantua, Isabella d'Este reigned not with a crown, but with intellect and taste. As one of the most powerful female patrons of the Renaissance, Isabella surrounded herself with poets, musicians, and artists. She collected ancient manuscripts and sculptures, commissioned works from Titian and Da Vinci, and transformed her palace into a beacon of learning and sophistication. Her letters reveal a woman of wit, political acumen, and curiosity. Yet, even with her influence, Isabella's legacy was long overshadowed by the men she supported. In France, Marguerite de Navarre, sister to King Francis I, used her position to champion religious reform and the humanist ideals sweeping through Europe. She penned the Heptameron, a collection of stories that revealed the moral complexities of life and love, especially for women. Though she worked in the shadow of the Reformation's turmoil, Marguerite's salon became a safe haven for thinkers and artists escaping persecution. Her voice, strong, rational, and empathetic, challenged the church and societal norms, even as her writings were quietly tucked away in the margins of literary history. And then there was Laura Serrata, a teenage scholar from Brescia, whose bold Latin letters championed women's intellectual equality. At a time when most girls were denied even basic education, Laura debated philosophy, mathematics, and virtue with male humanists across Italy. She lamented the silence forced upon women, writing, "What else can I do when I am constantly being told to be silent?" Her writings were passionate and self-aware, echoing the same frustration many modern women feel centuries later. Artists like Sophon Isber and Guiselar and Katharina van Hemessen defied the odds by becoming respected painters, even earning commissions from royal courts. But while their male counterparts were remembered for innovation, these women were praised more for being exceptional for a female. Their skill was not questioned, but their gender meant they were rarely seen as equals. Some, like Tulia d'Aragona, lived even more complicated lives: intellectuals, courtesans, and poets who navigated social stigma while engaging in philosophical debates that would shape Renaissance thought. Today, as we peel back the layers of time, we begin to see their faces more clearly. The Renaissance was not only a rebirth of classical ideals, but also, we now realize, a time when women lit sparks of brilliance, even if the world refused to see them shine.